You know what the solution is, mate?
What's that?
Internal combustion. It's the solution to everything. Speed and power.
A tale of fiction. One day I woke up to the sound of artillery and gunfire. I got up and looked out my window to see dozens of Chinese troops in the street. I ran to my closet to grab my M401 assault rifle and a box of 5.56 rounds. I then quickly grabbed my phone so I could call my sergeant. When he answered, he shouted, "Where the hell are you?" I replied, "I'm at my apartment." He says, "All right, I got a helicopter on the way, be ready," then hangs up. I waited in silence, gripping my rifle for dear life, my heart pounding, for what felt like hours, when, out of the blue, the sound of machine gun fire broke the silence. But though the sound of gunfire, I could hear the landing gear of the chopper. "Hawkins, hurry up!" I heard Private Smith yell. I quickly ran down the stairs, jumping onto the Black Hawk, barely avoiding the firefight happening just feet from me. The helicopter engines roared to life as it moved off the ground. I felt a huge sense of relief. As the gunfire came to a stop. "All right, what's happening?" I asked Corporal Landon. He says, "Well, it started normal, but I think something happened in the meeting between the U.S. and China. Next thing I know, we're getting shot at, so your guess is as good as mine." I looked at Landon with a concerned look on my face. The helicopter landed at a secret base somewhere in Missouri. My sergeant was waiting at the helipad with a concerned look on his face. When I got out of the Black Hawk and said Los Angeles is infested with them damn Chinese, my sergeant saying nothing and ordered me to get my gear and report back as fast as I could. I then ran to the armory to get my gear, but no sooner, the sergeant called an emergency meeting, so I hurried up and went to find a seat. I sat down, as the sergeant walked in, yelling, "Listen here, we will take back San Diego from the Chinese starting at 0700 hours, following 3 missile strikes. There will a team of 6 parachute on the east side of the city with tanks and air support en route. Meanwhile, a second team will parachute on the west side of the city. City Hall will be the rendezvous. Any questions?" The room remained silent. "All right, be ready by 0700. By the next morning we were geared up and ready just as the sergeant called wheels up. To the C-130 we went, ready to make them wave the white flag. The plane took off, giving us the reality check we all needed. I double-checked my ammo for my rifle, just as I hear one of the guys from the back yell out, "How much you willing to bet we're gonna die?" "Shut up," I replied. "East Side Team 30 seconds to drop," echoes in my ear. I grabbed my parachute and put it on just before we all get thrown around by 3 loud explosions from the plane being hit in the cargo bay, causing the door to drop open. When I hear, "East Side Team 3 seconds to drop," a green light comes on following the announcement. "Go, go, go," the soldier ordered. I jumped out of the plane heading towards the ground at the speed of sound. 7 seconds of the most peaceful silence Eve ever heard. Once I pulled my chute, I was free to ready my rifle. I aimed at 2 Chinese soldiers who were still watching the plane from the hits they made. Clicking off the safety, I pulled the trigger, letting off several 5.56 rounds into the first guy's head. The other Chinese soldier turned around, opening fire just as I hit the ground. I attempted to return fire, but the rifle jammed. I grabbed my Colt 1911 and aimed towards his head, getting him in the chest with a 45 ACP. Not to waste any time, I fired again, hitting him in the neck. After that, the soldier dropped to the ground, giving us a window of opportunity to advance on their position. With the rest of my team moving and pushing them into an abandoned office building that they have been using as a temporary base. I snuck through the broken glass door, when all at once, machine gun fire broke the silence, causing me to hit the floor. As I did, I saw a security desk by the entrance with working security cameras. I was able to click around and I found a Chinese machine gun nest on the 4th floor of the building just south of the staircase. I looked again to see if anyone was still in building. That's when I watched one enemy soldier walk just north of the staircase on the 4th floor. Quickly moving up the staircase, my team splits, one going north, the other going south with me. Just as we step foot on the 4th floor, I check my infrared scope to find someone at the end of the hall looking out the window. I aimed at the gunner and held my breath. as I squeezed the trigger, firing off a round that hit the gunner in the head. He then fell out of the window, hitting the ground, making a big boom as he fell in his own booby trap. "Last one," I whispered. We proceeded to clear the nest and to make our way to City Hall. About halfway there, the sound of a jet engine shook the night. We all look up and see a Chinese J-20 launch a missile at my squad. "Move!" I yelled at the top of my lungs. My squad scattered, just nearly avoiding death. The missile hit the ground just a few inches away from me. "Thank God the Chinese makes nothing but cheap stuff," I said. I got up and ran until we made it to City Hall, just to hear the exchange of gunfire from Chinese and the West Side team, grabbing my radio and trying to reach the team inside when I hear, "We need air support at City Hall." Shouted over the radio. Copy that, and within a minute a team of AC-130s is overhead, telling us to get down. I heard gunfire from the gunship as it rained bullets on the enemy. I was laying close enough that I was getting hit in the back of the head with the shell casings that were falling like hail. After about 30 seconds the gunship stopped firing and everything went quiet. Shortly after, the East Side team moved into the building, clearing it with the team stuck inside. Once cleared, one of the soldiers from the East Side team lowered the Chinese flag and set it on fire, while a soldier on the other team hung an American flag in its place. Shortly after, a V-22 Osprey landed on the road by where we were, ready to take us back to base. It lifted off the ground and tilted its engines forward, starting to rip through the clouds like a hot knife to butter. Soon after takeoff I heard a loud beeping noise. The pilot told us that beep meant a heat-seeking missile on our tail. Braced for impact, I closed my eyes and gripped my seat. The pilot, seeing me, starts to giggle and hit a button, releasing the flares to distract the heat-seeker part of the missile, allowing us to make it back to base without any further issues. As soon as the Osprey landed, the sergeant walked out of a building towards the team, with a smile on his face. "Great work, team. You made it back home in time for dinner," he said after we get unloaded. He needs both teams into his office. He explains how it's not over yet, but for now we needed to be ready for a meeting with the president, who was on a secured line. The president is planning a retaliatory attack on China with the two teams that cleared out San Diego's City Hall. After a short meeting, the president orders 3 nuclear weapons to be launched within the hour and hit Shanghai, Beijing, and Hong Kong, creating the biggest shockwave ever recorded due to all 3 nukes hitting at the same time. What was left of the Chinese military surrenders and Hong Kong is taken over by the US.
Internal combustion. It's the solution to everything. Speed and power.